I have to tell you that I'm as worried about our children today as I have ever been. This virus, the Delta variant of COVID, is every infectious disease specialist and epidemiologist's worst nightmare. As the governor mentioned, there was a myth that circulated during the first year of the epidemic that children somehow were immune. I think there were people who said children don't get the disease, they can't transmit the disease. We know that those were fallacies all along, but particularly now that the Delta variant has emerged, it has become very clear that children are being heavily impacted by this organism and by this pandemic at this point, perhaps more than ever before.
In Florida, where many schools reopened today, the sharpest spike in COVID cases has recently been in children under the age of 12.
Great.
As of Sunday, Florida had 172 children being treated in hospitals for COVID, the highest number in the country. This comes as Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis is threatening to defund the salaries of school officials who mandate mask wearing in schools.
So let's listen to Ron DeSantis and not listen to medical experts at children's hospitals around the country. Let's do that because, Republicans are always correct. They're always wrong. Conservatism, by the way, is a failed system of governing, which is why there are no more conservatives, because, as you can see, they don't have any principles left. Not protect the children, not family values, certainly not trickle down because that didn't work, and certainly not local control. It was all bullcrap. Everything they spewed in conservative circles was a bunch of dung. It was a turd, everybody, is what it was. And they know it. Afghanistan? So now we have to put 3,000 troops into Afghanistan to get the rest of the embassy staff and the diplomats out of Afghanistan. This is a case of don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, okay? They were wrong about every single thing. It started with old Ronald Reagan telling you Medicare would bring socialism to this country, and he would wake up one day and see that his country wasn't free anymore if we gave seniors Medicare. If we gave seniors a way to pay for medical bills in their old age, it would destroy and break this country. Ronald Reagan also told you it will trickle down. Ronald Reagan also told you the most frightening words you could ever hear is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. This is when the distrust for the government became a political implement, a tool to beat you out of your rights, to beat you out of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, to beat you out of unions, to beat you out of wage increases, to beat you out of believing that in the middle of a pandemic, you shouldn't be evicting people. You see what I mean? The morality of conservatism was always, always lacking. It was always putrid. It never had any morality. And so what did they do? They attacked the strongest thing that people believed who wanted to believe in conservatism, and that was their morality, their religious beliefs. So they became entwined with the churches, with the charlatans, with the grifters on the TV. Half of them have gone to jail and the other half are dead. But this is what they do. They look at the strongest asset that they have going for them and they exploit it to the point of losing all these people, and in this case, to death. I mean, it's almost like Darwinian. It's very interesting because Brett and I were talking about Darwinism. And, when you look at the sort of, let's say, natural selection that the anti-vaxxers are making, they're self-selecting not to get vaccinated. They're self-selecting not to be prepared or to protect or to defend themselves against a pathogen that really wants to live more than they do. And so what you have here is sort of the actions of the people that are anti-vax, anti-mask is going to kill them. And in that weird way, it's Darwinian. The problem that we face right here, right now, is that they want to take the rest of us with them. and we won't have it. And not only won't we have it, but the medical profession is getting really drained of empathy and hope. And that's a very bad result. But I got to tell you that this idea of natural immunity, we have it. Those of us who chose to get vaccinated, those of us who chose to wear masks even after vaccination, on the odd chance that we might get some COVID virus in our noses, and that if we sneezed without a mask, we could infect a child. We could infect a vulnerable, immunocompromised person who can't get the vaccine. We could infect somebody who gets anaphylaxis and can't be vaccinated. And so we decided that we would wear a mask in the odd chance that we would contaminate somebody even after vaccination. So you know what that proves? That proves that we have natural immunity to mental illness. Yes, those of us who took the vaccine, like we've taken so many other vaccines in our lives. Those of us who have been in the military have taken more vaccines than those who haven't, but those who went to school have taken many vaccines in their lives. From polio to measles to mumps to rubella, tetanus. Some of us took Zika. Some of us have had rabies shots, all mRNA, the rabies and the Zika. Just saying, not new technology at all. But those of us who have the natural immunity to mental illness will prove to be the fittest among us. And the others, the weak ones, the people who are naturally selecting themselves for death and illness, and long COVID, by the way, which will create some sort of fogginess as an addendum to the mental illness with which they currently suffer. You know, and it's, because what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. This is my official explanation for what I consider to be insane. And these people are doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. They are protesting and they are believing people who lie to them over and over again and expecting that one day these liars will one day get something right. Well, they've not gotten anything right. They've been wrong on the invasion of Afghanistan going way back 20 years ago. They were wrong on the invasion of an unarmed nation named Iraq going back 17 years ago. They were wrong on trickle-down economics going back to the 80s. They were wrong on wages going up naturally if you just competed hard enough. They were wrong that liberals wanted to defund the police. They were wrong about it. Did you see this little video clip? I want to bump back with it because it's worth watching the whole damn thing. So here's what happened with the wrong ones, with the mentally ill. They stood up on the Senate floor, Tommy Tuberville. Yeah. Because, of course, you want to take your advice from a former football coach. Yes. And he introduced an amendment in the Vote-A-Rama when they were passing the infrastructure package, the bipartisan one with $1 trillion in it for us. Yeah. So Tuberville stood up and introduced an amendment in the Vote-A-Rama that said that we will never defund the police. Not that the feds have anything to do with funding the local police. However, everyone voted for it. Everyone, every Democrat, every Republican voted for it. And then the Democrats got the chance to mock Tommy Tuberville's ignorance and ridiculous claims that Cory Booker, who's trying to work with South Carolina Senator Tim Scott on police reform, was trying to defund the police. It was perfect. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to RandiRhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.